to the place of precedence in the affairs of men. When you do the wrong thing and you allow the wrong thing to go and pass by, Mr. Speaker, when it comes up again at a very, very costlier experience and cost, Honorable Speaker, you may not be able to exonerate yourself. We are seated here, 360 people, mandated with the trust of, or trusted with the capacity to ensure that Nigeria gets better. And when we declared and alleged and swore our oath of allegiance on the 6th of June, 2011, we swore to defend and uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And therein, in that small book, the first purpose of government is to ensure security. And that security is omnibus. Irrespective and regardless of where there's insecurity, we are mandated, yes, Mr. Speaker, we are mandated to intervene so that we can protect our collective interest. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, somebody said when they came for the Anglicans, I kept quiet. When they came for the Catholics, I kept quiet. When they came for the Protestants, I kept quiet. When they came for me, there was nobody to stand for me. Mr. Speaker, in just 10 years ago, 10 quick years ago, this same experience happened in Anambra. President Obasanjo went to Pretoria, and before he came, there was an assault on the collective institution that represents the interests of Anambra people. They came for them. Maybe if Parliament had listened to that occasion very well, at that point in time, maybe the effrontery that led to the incidents of today may have been averted. Here we are today at another defining point in history. Mr. Speaker, I believe very strongly the heart of democracy is in the Parliament. You can take a shot at the head and escape, but when the bullet comes for the heart, you go down. Mr. Speaker, this House, and I recognize my brother Honorable Chinda, and I respect his views. But the truth of the matter is that we have to look outside narrow prisms of provincialism and check what this means. What does it connote? It is Rivers today. It could be Imo tomorrow, God forbid. It could be, of course, God forbid it be negative. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the prayers that my brother, Honorable Sam Sokwa, had also given us the capacity to extend is what I want to also explore that opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the police mandated with the authority to maintain law and order has obviously compromised. The integrity of that institution to deliver on its constitutional role in Rivers has been compromised. The Commissioner of Police spoke to the world and said that the governor of Anambra, the governor of Rivers State, was dictatorial. Does that not show where his allegiance is? Now I don't care who is behind this. When a blind man says, I am going to stone you, he either has the pebble in his hands or he has his leg on it. Mr. Speaker, I believe at this point in time, in addition to the prayers he has moved eminently, the Commissioner of Police in Rivers is fueling, is compromised, is fueling this crisis. Right now, I believe the IG, if he's watching, he should take that guy out of that place. That's number one. Number two, I'm even aware, I was told that the assembly, that the state assembly is actually directly facing the state command. Mr. Speaker, if that is true, does that not appear like the case of Rome burning and Augustine Nero was fiddling? Does it not appear like that? So, at this point in time, I believe the hierarchy, the state hierarchy of the police in Rivers State should be taken out in the interest of maintaining law and order. I was even told that militants were moving in there. Casualties will go blood. I think the cost of maintaining democracy in Nigeria is becoming too much and we can't pay no more pint of blood. We should rise to this moment and ensure that justice is done to ensure that institution that we also represent takes its hold in Rivers State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Beji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
My dear colleagues, I am Udo Oluchi Ibeji. I represent the good people of Umuahia North, Umuahia South, Ikuano Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, the situation that arises is very unfortunate. But the question we should ask is, to whom do the people of Rivers State run to at this moment? To whom do they run to? Of course, to the House of Representatives. The buck stops with us. If we keep silent in the present situation, then we are telling the people of Rivers State to take the laws into their hands and solve their own problems. That is not why we are here. We all took an oath to defend democracy. The single question we should ask ourselves is this: is democracy under siege in Rivers State? If the answer to that question is yes, do we have a right to take urgent steps to stop democracy from being trampled upon in Rivers State? And the simple answer to that is yes. So the conduct of the police is most unfortunate, because if the police is to do what they are supposed to do, this situation wouldn't have even been arisen in the first place. So I join my colleague, Honorable Daramola, to call on the Inspector General of Police to thoroughly investigate his Commissioner of Police in Rivers State. Thoroughly investigate him, not only to remove him, but to implement other disciplinary action if he is found to have compromised his authority and his office. It is on that ground that I ask my colleagues to please join in supporting this motion so that we can save democracy in Rivers State and indeed in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Pali. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Eji Chopane. I represent Obingbo Somobunabo Federal Constituency in Abia State. Please, members of the committee on the ad hoc committee on PIB, you should sit back with us. You will go after this motion. After this motion, please. Every other legislative activity today is suspended until after this motion. Thank you very much. Please, Honorable Baden. Mr. Speaker, it is difficult for me to sit back and not lend my voice to this debate, and to also say that what is happening in Rivers State is a very dangerous precedent, and which also ties up to other precedents we've had in history. Our democracy has been stunted in the past by this sort of attitude, and it begins with this so-called lengthening politics of spite. I know for a fact, which is not before us here, that this is just an internal matter in a disagreement in the party to which we all belong. But it has advanced beyond that, because two people begin to quarrel or two groups begin to quarrel, and then it begins to spill over, that state institutions are dragged in, and then it gets into dangerous dimensions that sometimes hurt our growth in democracy. From the Southwest, what is now the Southwest in the First Republic, when they call that it was disagreement, personality clash between two persons that led to the problem in the Southwest, that led to the first military coup that we had in the country. I won't want to talk about the other ones. Since 1999, we've had these sort of issues where individuals will band together and want to supplant the authority and legitimacy of a House of Assembly duly elected by the people. And of course, in recalling that, we need to also mention that even the National Assembly has been a victim of this sort of attitude. Remember, in 2002 or thereabout, that there was an invasion of the Apollo legislative quarters where the senators were living their quarters by armed policemen who fired tear gas and shot in the air in the living quarters of senators. And of course, the threat to National House of Representatives because of their disagreement with the executive at that point in time. Mr. Speaker, we have been long on this Rivers issue, and we can see that most of the appeals of this House has not gone so far. I will go further